You're listening to another ambitious entrepreneurnetwork.com podcast, the voice for entrepreneurs and small business. Now, onto the show.
Welcome to Industry Thought Leader Podcast. Stand out, be heard, influence. Want to influence real change with your message while become known as an authority in your field? Industry Thought Leader Podcast will show you how. Now, over to your host, Annemarie Cross.
And welcome to another episode of Industry Thought Leader Podcast, brought to you by Industry Thought Leader Academy. Stand out, be heard, and influence. And I'm your host, Annemarie Cross, also known as the podcasting queen. Now, my guest today says trust is a commodity that should be easily given, as trust empowers and motivates people more than anything. And on today's show, joining me is Rahul Aggarwal. Now, Rahul is the co-founder of Designhill, and he created a unique online marketplace to overcome the challenges faced by businesses in outsourcing high quality creative solutions and designers who've been looking for creative freedom. Now, he has been awarded as Rising Entrepreneur of the Year 2019 and Entrepreneur 35 Under 35 in 2020. Wow. Now, on today's show, he's going to share changing habits and mindsets of businesses, especially during COVID times, towards design, new technologies in the design space, changing focus towards freelance design, as well as the growth of AI and do-it-yourself tools in design, and so much more, I'm sure. Welcome to the show, Rahul.
Thank you so much, Annemarie. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to sharing my thoughts and ideas with you and your audience.
Yeah, my pleasure. Designhill, what was the that prompted you to create this online marketplace where you're kind of connecting businesses as well as this creative solutions and designers together? Was there a need in the marketplace? What prompted you to create Designhill?
It's a funny story, but I don't know if many people know that, but Designhill is is a business that me and my younger brother Varun started. So we both are founders in the business, and so it came from a need from both of us, because I'm the elder one. We come from a line of entrepreneurs. I'm a third generation entrepreneur. And when I came back after my studies in 2004-5, I joined my family business, and we wanted to get some creative work done. And I was having major issues because, couldn't find the right designers, couldn't get the quality that we were looking for, the professionalism that we were looking for. On the other side, Varun always had been a creative guy, and he was, working as a freelance designer, and out of hobby and out of passion. And he was facing the issues that he was not able to find, great jobs or clients that could assure payments, and no technology was there that could really connect businesses with designers. So when we actually got along, and when he came back after finishing his education, higher studies, we just got together and we decided that designer is something that is the need of the hour, not only from a business perspective, but also from a designer perspective. And today we live in a globalized world, isn't it? And where it's no longer a restriction, or it should not be a restriction that, you need to only work with somebody local or somebody who's a friend, or, get and not take design, lightly, because it is essential to what a business is. I mean, that's really what matters. I mean, there's an old saying, don't judge a book by its cover, isn't it? But I think most people do. And for any business, that's what we tell our clients, that, people judge your business by your design. That's the first impression anybody has about your business, whether it's it's a restaurant, so it'll be signage of your restaurant. If it's a product that you're selling in a mart, then it's the packaging of your design, the product. It really matters. And I think it was just the need of connecting quality designers with businesses who could get affordable designs done in a quick way. I think that was the need, and that's how Designhill started.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing. And of course, as you've been talking, for those of you who are on the live stream, I know this is also going to be an audio podcast, but I brought up Designhill. And as I was going through that, as you're speaking, Rahul, we realized that just through some of the projects and examples that came up, there is so much to do with design when you think of business, from not just logos or design of a website, but signage and every aspect. And when you get a brand design that is very consistent across all of the ways that you're communicating your brand and about your business, there's that consistency that really is one of the key elements that can really allow your ideal clients to see you stand out when you're doing it really professionally, isn't it? Would you say that that's a fair?
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what really differentiates you from being a professional, a serious business, to somebody who's just doing it as a part-time, or somebody who's not taking it seriously. I mean, that's the fundamental difference. And I think it's really different from what it was in 2014-15 when we started, and today, because of all the technologies that have come up, the globalization, the internet penetration that has happened in the last 4-5 years. Design has become omnipresent. If you look at social media, every brand is on Instagram, they're on LinkedIn, they're on different, they're trying to promote themselves in different channels, and everywhere you need design, isn't it? I mean, if not physically on products, on your packaging, but also on your social presence, the banners on your social accounts, the kind of posts that you're putting out for your fans and followers, everything. And it all requires consistency, and it can only have consistency if you invest your time and effort in your business and take design seriously, because otherwise it'll just look unprofessional, and people not this is and somebody else is going to be doing it professionally, and if they're going to be doing it properly and consistently, then that they will look better than you, isn't it? I mean, we dress ourselves well when we go to meet, or go to a restaurant, or go to a wedding. Why do we do that? We can just dress shabbily and just go. So why not take our business seriously?
Yeah, so true. One of the things that we've been saying to clients, and I'm sure that you have also been saying to your clients, is that now that there are so many more businesses who are online, because there's still many countries who are restricting face-to-face, and businesses have closed down, lockdown and so forth, means that a lot more of consumers are going online and businesses are going online, which means the design element, how our business is presented, is so important if we really want to stand out. But you also share that there's some new technologies in the design space. What are some of those new technologies? What are the benefits that you're seeing through those, just to alert businesses? It's one of those things, we don't know what we don't know. So what's happening in the design space that we need to know about?
I mean, there is so much more. Back in the day, you need a designer. I mean, any person, any professional or businessman, they would need a designer. They'll be dependent on a designer to get design done, right? Now, but today you don't need that anymore, because of all the different technologies and developments that are happening. I mean, I'll start off with just the freelancing platforms like Designhill. Right now, you don't need to have somebody on your payroll for the entire month or for the entire year. You can just simply go on a freelancing platform like Fiverr, Designhill, 99 Designs, and you could just go on them and look out for the designer that suits your need at that particular time, hire him, get design done. Number one, that's when you want to work with somebody, a professional or one-to-one. But apart from that, the technologies that are coming up today, we are using AI now, because of the fact that we have so much data and know-how, learnings that are coming through, what kind of designs businesses are liking in particular industries. What are the colors that they are working in different industries? What are the sort of icons that are working? And we're using all of that to to integrate that into machine learning and AI. And now we created a tool called an AI logo maker a couple of years back, in fact, and we've created more than 5 million logos from that. And the tool's created, we've not done anything, and it works wonderfully. It's one of the best in the industry. Similarly, now we have DIY tools. So earlier you need to learn Adobe, Photoshop, or Illustrator, right? And I can't use that, to be very honest with you. I'm not a designer, right? But But we have DIY tools now. Like it's a Canva is an Australian company you know of.
Oh,
Um,
okay,
we
yeah.
have Designhill Studio. Again, you have millions of templates for every possible scenario and situation. So if you actually look now, if somebody is sending you an invite today for their birthday party, earlier it could be a text message. Now they'll send you a proper, a digital card. And how they're not hiring a designer to do that. So
And
you're
some
getting left.
you've got the moving now, the movies.
Yeah, they're like animated, and they're like 10 seconds and 5 seconds, and they'll throw in a soundtrack also. So all of that is why. How is that happening? Because of the fact that you have these DIY tools. We've created Designhill Studio. You have Canva, as I mentioned earlier. So these are really great tools, and if you combine all the ancillaries that are happening, like we've created annotation tools. Annotation is where earlier, when you would want some design done, you'll meet a designer, you'll show them on paper, right? Okay, this is not what I like, this is what I want to change. But today you could actually have your on your screen, you could mark a particular point on a design and put your comments, and it's done, right? So that you don't need to meet a designer anymore. So the bunch of tools that are coming, that are helping the entire collaboration process. And I think it's really wonderful. We I don't think that hiring designers would be a option for people, the priority option for people 5 or 10 years down the line, because of all the tools that are coming up. So that's what we are also doing. We have the freelancing business, where we people who want to invest money, and there are people who want to hire professionals, like it's a big project and stuff, so they do that. But a lot of people don't have the money to spend, right? So where do they go? But they still want to get quality designs. So that's where you use tools like the AI tools or the DIY tools that I mentioned. So that it's a great space to be.
And what I love about that as well, and this is really where we talk into, changing habits and mindsets of businesses. COVID has had them rethink. But I think, in instances where we recognize, there are highly gifted, highly skilled designers that I don't necessarily, as you say, need to hire full time, but I can tap into their expertise project by project.
Yes.
And, you may have a project that you're needing now, and then in 2 or 3 months' time, you might have written a book, and through tapping in again to that freelancer, or maybe someone who you can add to the team who's specialist in the area of book design.
Yeah.
These are all people that you can tap into, and it doesn't matter where they're based in the world. You've got access to them online to be able to do that. Is that what you're seeing now, that businesses, there is a changing focus more towards having freelancers? I know that I'm seeing it, especially in VA, the virtual assistants, but certainly in the design space too. You're seeing an increase in that?
Huge changes. I mean, okay, let me just share a small story with you, right? So in 2014-15, when we started, we used to really struggle convincing people to an extent that come online, hire a designer online, get your work done. And it was a new idea, it was a new concept for people. Now if you see, it's tremendous how many people are coming on their own. I think COVID especially has accelerated that adoption, because it has forced people to work online, to speak to people online, to communicate online, to get work done online, right? And especially with the entire internet penetration globally, I think people have become really accepting of the fact that they can actually get serious work done online. And when it comes to things like design, see, design is important, but design is important at different stages of a business life cycle. I'm an entrepreneur, right? I mean, we use design, we need design every day. So because we're in a digital business. But some businesses, maybe somebody's in a manufacturing business, or somebody, as I said, is a restaurant owner or a salon owner. Now they don't need a designer all the time. It's not priority for them. So, but they need good design, right? So what for people like that, it's essential that they have tools or platforms like this where they can just simply go and get stuff done, because it's not the priority for them to hire somebody online, just spend their time and energy, getting things done, minutest things, changes done. It just doesn't work. So I think COVID also has had a huge impact. I think it's probably accelerated the entire adoption and growth of online businesses and online services by probably a decade. I mean, look at the online shopping in US. I mean, I was reading a statistic. Amazon is the number of customers, and Amazon has it has increased on the number of customers on Amazon that have increased in the last 1 year, that they would have reached this mark in 2030, right? So they have, in 1 year, they have leapfrogged 10 years because of the fact that everything is online now, and it's changing customer habits. So likewise for businesses, I think it's I always recommend businesses to prioritize on the things that are bringing in money, because we have limited resources as entrepreneurs. We can't spend money unwisely. So focus on the things that are important, your sales and your marketing and all of that, and leave design to people like us.
Yeah, I love that you're saying that. What would be some advice that you would give to people who were looking at tapping into the expertise of such as Designhill? How can we as business owners prepare the right information so that when we're seeking to work with a freelancer, the person that we select to work with, right through to the exchange of information, is such that it allows the designer to work really well too? Because one of the reasons I ask that is how often a business owner will say, well, I don't really know what I need, but I'll know it when I see it. It kind of, for a designer, is like, well, there's a million different ways that we can come up with. So what are some advice and insight to help us prepare so that the relationship is good and there's a win-win and we come out with a design we absolutely love?
I think, you nailed the question, in the sense that, that was a fundamental question we tried to answer when we created this business. Because, the basic problems that any business or anybody would get when working with designers is that, you don't know what you're exactly looking for, or, the designers are you're not able to make him understand what your brief is, or they're not able to understand or visualize exactly what you're looking for. And so what we especially have done is that, we have a complete onboarding process where we show you examples. We show every customer examples. So if you were to go on our website and you go to packaging design, and we'll ask you to select your industry. What is your industry? Are you selling ketchups, or are you selling consumer products, or you're selling a cream? Based on that, we'll show examples of 20, 30, 40 different types of products, packagings of the same industry and category. Depending on that, we'll show you more designs, we'll show you more colors, we'll show you. So, we've made the entire brief process a very visual process, because visually the designers can understand and see much more. They can learn much more about what a client is looking for, right? And then there are a series of questions that have been added. Though we don't encourage customers to answer all of them in the beginning, because we know that, they'll more often than not, they'll be like, I'm just looking for this, make me a great design. I think, that's the basic brief that we get more often than not. So after that, it's just about the fact that, because on a platform like ours, you get so many designers. Like, for example, we have a service called the Designhill Contest. So this is a crowdsourcing service. So what really happens there is that for a particular project, you'll have multiple designers that participate. So you for your project, you will probably get a designer from you'll get maybe a dozen designers. One of them could be from Australia, one of them could be from Indonesia, another one from America, Brazil, and all of these guys are coming up with their own concepts. They have different skill sets, different backgrounds, and you'll be amazed how many options a customer gets. On an average, for a particular contest, we get about 70 to 80 designs, custom designs created by, on an average, about 20-25 designers within 7 days, right? And when you see that many options, that really answers your question. I don't know what I'm looking for, or make me something great. So, you get so many designs and so many options to choose from. I mean, it's wonderful. And it works really, really well because of the fact that, you're not limited by skill. You're not limited by an experience of one particular person. And that's the beauty of this service, because it just if you have something particular in mind, then yes, you get it. But if you don't have, and more often than not people don't have, because they don't know what they're looking for, they just give you references. So it works really nice. I mean, just to give you an example of how well this works, on this service we give 100% money back guarantee, right? No questions asked. And we have a 97% success rate. So out of every 100 customers, 97 customers are satisfied. And design is a subjective subject.
Yeah.
You may like something, I may not like something, the same thing. So but it works well. And so that's why I think online businesses are the way to go when it comes to design, because of the ease of use, the flexibility, the variety of options that you get, and it's really good value for money.
Yeah, I love that this is a service that you offer, because it's one of those things. Often we may have a certain idea and then we give the brief to a designer, and that designer brings that to life and may just put a tweak. But that tweak that they add, because that's their expertise, just takes that entire design to a whole new level that as a business owner, we had no idea about, because we're not into design, and that's where we need. And I love how it culminates a whole lot of different options, and then you can go through. Because if I've looked, and I get stuck. It's like one of those dark black holes when I look at the different creativities and the design. I think that's so powerful, so simple yet so powerful. And and again, you don't know, how am I going to give advice on what I want if I haven't actually seen it. But my point was that you can see certain styles and flavors, if you will, of designers who just relate to your brand, and you can go, I love your style, just the way that you approach. And so for some businesses, and just the mindset and the way that, the experience you want to create with that brand design fits really good with that particular designer, because that's the kind of style that they develop. So what exciting things is in store, do you think, in the design? I mean, obviously we talked about AI, we talked about having some DIY tools, and I think moving forward, this space will only continue to grow. Would you say that that's a fair comment?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just throw in a statistic to reinforce what you just said. I mean, the global design industry annually is worth $64 billion, right? I mean, that's the amount of money that gets spent on creating design online. Not online, sorry, globally, offline. But the online space is only about $3 to $4 billion. So, and it was $1 billion 5 years back. So what I'm trying to say here is that it's changing rapidly. It's growing by about 100% year on year. In terms of technologies, as I've said, AI, machine learning, DIY tools. Now we're getting into digital ad management, because with companies slightly bigger in size, they have so many cross-functional activities, and they need things to manage their designs in one place, or mass customization, for example. If they're playing their ads in different regions with different offers and different prices, now they have to get things edited. So all of that, it's more enterprise, but again, so it's something that is happening in the design space, and it's really, really powerful. Again, one of the things that we've in fact started doing is now we got into printing. So, a lot of our customers, because end of the day, a lot of the work that you get designed has to be printed as well, isn't it? Like your flyers or business cards or posters and stuff, T-shirts for that matter. So we're actually focusing on a complete, DIY, AI to freelancer to print, product. So, you can actually get everything done in one go, and you can have your products delivered to your doorstep wherever you are in the world through local printers as well. So we're starting printing in 50 countries now.
That's incredible, because as you say, I mean, there may be some designs that you're using online, such as your website, social media, and so forth. But I noticed that there were designs of T-shirts that you've mentioned, but there may be some corporate designs designs that you have on actual giftware, or just, cups and pens and those sorts of things.
Yes.
Which and I think so innovative that that you've connected with printers who are local, because really, I know that we've spoken about design. You've said that you're an entrepreneur, but we're just about out of time. But when you think about this business that you've created and you've been adding on as services, for someone who's listening today and thinking, Rahul, where do you get your ideas and the growth opportunities? Because you're almost like staying ahead of the curve, and that's very entrepreneurial, isn't it? It's being able to navigate the future, navigate what's needed now, being able to shift and be agile into the market. What do you do as an entrepreneur and in your business to be able to make decisions that always position you as kind of ahead of that curve and providing solutions that the market is hungry for? Are there things that you do, or is it just something that happens naturally?
I think I'm inherently uncomfortable with the fact that there is somebody out there who's trying to outdo us, or is somebody who's is working harder than us, or they're coming up with something new that we are not doing. And I think it's just the thing that I have, or it's probably something that we've built, ingrained in ourselves, maybe over a period of time, because you can't expect that nobody is working harder than you. You can't expect that people are not trying new things. You can't expect that new technologies are not coming today. And most importantly, you need to also keep a focus, a completely undivided focus towards your customers, because you have to understand how customer behaviors are changing, the requirements are changing. Right now, people were not hiring people online 5, 7, 8 years back. Today they're hiring people online, but now they're also shifting to getting designs done online on their own, like with DI and AI. So we went into that early. Now we're also seeing that people are also, they don't want to go to their local printers anymore. They want stuff done in one go. So we go getting into printing at the same time. So you have to really be ahead of the curve that way, because you have to keep speaking to your customers. You have to keep taking feedback from your customers. You have to keep I think it's just, you have to be on it 24/7, isn't it? Because, and I feel that if today we have the whole world in front of us. I mean, that the amount that we can grow, or any business can grow for that matter, there is no limit to that. So if you're just hungry enough and ambitious enough, I think you'll find opportunities all the time.
Yeah, I love that. And, as you were sharing that, it's this insatiable need to always want to be creative, be innovative. And, there's so much opportunity. And as you said, the world really is your oyster, and so many more people are now online. We're becoming comfortable with hiring people online. I mean, I've got the best team. I've never met any of them.
Yeah.
I've got one in Tasmania, in Australia. I've got people in the Philippines, people that I've worked with in India, client base, which is global too, with the technology that we have at our fingertips. I mean, you're in India, aren't you? And I mean, I'm in Australia, and here we are using the StreamYard technology to be able to have this wonderful conversation. I think it's entrepreneurs, we always should be looking at, well, what does my market need, even before they realize that they need it? And if we can meet them there when they realize that they have a need, we'll start talking about it, because they don't know what's possible. Now, of course, we've shared, and I'll share it one more time, where people can go and find out more about Designhill. Freelancers at your fingertips who are specialists in all areas of design. Unless we had this opportunity to have a chat, people may not have realized that this was available. So Rahul, how can people, I mean, obviously there's the website, it's designhill.com. How can people connect with you personally, your website here? What are some ways that they can connect?
So, I'm there on LinkedIn. I'm not the most socially active person, to be very honest with you, but so I'm on LinkedIn. So you can just type Rahul and Designhill, and I'll pop up. I'm on Twitter as well. I'll share my IDs with you, and you can probably share them with the audience. If anybody has any questions, they can always reach out to me directly, or on the website. So sometimes I also take like online chats with customers, so I just act as an agent. So anyhow, you could you visit our website, www.designhill.com. We have 24/7 customer support, so anytime you have any queries directly for me and you're not able to reach out to me, just drop in an email or just speak to one of our agents, and I'll be there.
Yeah, fantastic. And as I mentioned in the introduction, that rising entrepreneur of 2019, entrepreneur 35 under 35 in 2020. I think just through listening to what you shared today, the insights, the passion for your work really validates why you were listed in 2019 and again in 2020, and I'm sure in 2021 and beyond. And you know, what I love about this is it does not matter what challenges and obstacles that we are faced with. As an entrepreneur, we know that a challenge is just, you know, an obstacle or a rock, a block becomes a stepping stone if we look at it at that way. How can we learn? How can we grow? What technologies are there? Ask, because I'm sure that someone has either got a solution already or can create a solution for you. So thank you so much for coming on the show, Rahul. Please connect with them, designhill.com, if you're wanting some great design ideas or want to work with a designer. And thanks once again for coming on the show.
Thanks so much, Harry. It was really fun and engaging, and it was just a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.